Hello and welcome to Daring to Dare, part 4 of Elmira. I have to say, I changed the set, and I have to say that I have a newfound respect for directors. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of preparation, and my hat's off to them. I never realized the amount of work that's involved. I mean, makeup, clothes, make sure everything's right in the setting. It took me 2 hours. Well, I know you can't wait to hear about raw hamburger and pig's feet. If there was bread with the hamburger, I think they call them cannibal sandwiches. But there was no bread with my mother. She would have this ground meat, and I could see her put her hands in the raw meat, and that's how she was. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the way she put it in her mouth, but that's the way she put it in her mouth. Talk about safety. I mean, I'm a child, and I'm saying to myself, something's not right about that. She didn't know. You're not supposed to eat raw meat. She had no idea of E. coli bacteria. Well, nobody did really, I guess, back then, but still, cannibals eat raw meat. Other people. Ugh. Just thinking about it just turns my stomach. Ugh. Oh, and the pig's feet. Do you know what pig's feet look like? Oh my God, the least appetizing thing I can think of. And Mom would buy them, where she got them, and she would cook them. She cooked these. And she loved the meat that she could get. There wasn't much meat. I don't understand what the delicacy was, but I saw her time and time again eating pig's feet, and thank God she didn't make me eat it. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lord. You know, as I said, Mom wasn't real keen on safety. She never thought ahead and, maybe thought, well, maybe this could happen or maybe that could happen. And the case in point was, she used to give me the rent money and send me downstairs to the doctor's office. Actually, the doctor was my great uncle. And I would sit there in the waiting room with patients, and the patients would come out, and then another one would go in. And then the door would open, patient would go out, another one in. I can remember sitting there till the last patient left. And finally, my uncle realized that I was in the patient room, in the waiting room. So I paid the rent. Gave him the envelope, and upstairs I went. Well, again, I had to go down and give my great uncle the rent. Honestly, I think there was cash money in there. She didn't think that maybe somebody would realize what I'm doing there. And maybe steal the money. That could have happened. It didn't. But I would never send a 5 or 6 year old to sit in a waiting room with a bunch of people and have cash in an envelope. It's just something I would never even dream of. There she was, and I did it time and time and time again. It got to the point where I made sure the doctor knew I was there, and he would take the envelope right from me. So it got easier and easier as time went on, and then I remember a time, Kathy and I drummed up this idea that we wanted to camp out. So her father set up a tent, and my mother said it was okay. So Kathy and I are all snuggled in the tent. We're giggling, and we're just having a grand old time, you know. Finally, we settle down. We go to sleep. Well, the next thing I know, the crack of dawn, my mother's down there, dragging me out of the tent, telling me to get upstairs real quick. Of course, I'm half asleep. I'm walking like this. She grabbed a hold of me. Up the stairs I went. And I couldn't understand why she wouldn't let us stay there a little while. Here, she realized that that was trash day. And the trash men were coming to pick up the trash, obviously. And she realized finally that she better get the kids out of there. So at least she did wise up. But it took her all night. All night. Oh, you know, Mom was the first adversary. But when I got to school, I faced another one. I'll never forget her. Her name was Kathy McNutt. Boy, was she ever named right. She was a nut. She looked like a nut. She sounded like a nut. She acted like a nut. She was a nut. And she did not like me. Talk about abuse in school. She was constantly on me. Why did the teacher do something? The teacher did nothing. And one day, she caught me outside, and I had just won a race against all the boys and all the girls that wanted to race. We did the 50-yard dash. To my surprise, I won. I'm a fast runner. I learned that a while ago. Run to the bathroom. Well, she started talking. I don't even know what she was saying. And she started to run towards me. And I turned around and I ran. And I ran. And I ran. I can't let her get me. She's going to hurt me. Run. I ran all the way home from school. And that was a little trick. That was a trick. I bet I went 4 or 5 blocks to my home. And I got there, and I got in the door. And of course my heart is pounding, and I'm looking for Kathy McNutt. I didn't see her. I lost her way back. And you know what? The next day at school, she started to get nice. We never mentioned the run, but obviously she realized that she couldn't get me. So I guess her thinking was, if you can't beat them, join them. And I never had a problem with her since. Oh, and I remember another adversary. He didn't go to school with me, and he was much older, but he was a neighborhood kid. Johnny Krause. Never forget Johnny Krause. Something was wrong with Johnny. I was much younger, but I could tell there was something wrong. Nobody said anything. I never heard about what was really wrong with him. But I realized he was very slow. Very slow. And one time he got really, really mad at me. We're playing basketball. Hey, I'm playing with the guys. I'm playing with Johnny Krause and Jerry Grambolski. You know, up the ball's going. I'm running around Johnny, running around Jerry a little bit, but running around Johnny. He just couldn't react fast enough. And I threw that ball up, and he knocked me down right on the ground. I was stunned. And this is what I heard from Jerry. Johnny, it's a girl. And he says, I know, I can take her. Well, he never got me. Out of the house comes his mother. Oh, she was a tiny thing. And he looked tall. I'll say at least 6 foot tall. That's what he looked like to me. And she grabbed him, and she was hitting him and smacking him and telling him all about what he was doing wrong. And into the house he went. I got up, and that was it. I never had problems with with Johnny Krause ever again. You know, my story is about perseverance and the courage to survive. If you want to meet an international foe that changed not only my life, but changed America one more time, stay tuned to part 5. Adios, amigos.